Now you are cooking.
Can I get 2 hamburgers?
Yes, sir.
With French fries?
Yes, sir.
What about an omelet?
Sure. Got a couple eggs.
I like food. Food is good. I like food. Food is good.
And we shall hear wars and rumors of wars.
And boom, boom, boom.
And a boom, boom, boom. Gons. Actually, in fact, this might be a good place to really lament today's news, Friday the 13th, which is officially Jen Psaki's last day as press secretary in the White House.
It's an interesting question. Circle back. We'll circle back.
She'll circle back, though.
And she'll circle back. She's got, so we won't forget about you, Jen. But yes, as Peter Ducey from Fox News exclaimed on Twitter, it is the end of an era. But to celebrate that, we've got a clip here of Jen Psaki responding to a question from the podium regarding the baby food shortage.
The FDA also just issued a statement about importing formula from abroad. The FDA committed to providing additional information early next week that will facilitate importation to get more product on U.S. store shelves as soon as possible. The FDA.
Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, but that's the latest there, which is that
that's the latest.
We're going to import some baby food. Which
did you have the?
Yeah, no, I don't have the other one that you were, because I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. But
oh no!
Oh, did we need that as part of the big kickoff?
No, it was just a fun aspect of what we were dealing with.
Yeah.
But previously, Jen Psaki had been asked, "What's the deal with the baby food shortage? Come on now, White House, come on, help us out." And she said, if you're having trouble with baby food, go ahead and talk to your pediatrician. Not our problem.
Yeah, get some samples.
Yeah. Suddenly the volume that I'm getting from you and the entire show is incredibly low, Gonzo. Is that something you can boost over to my end here? Am I on my own here?
You might be on your own. I don't know. Let me see here.
Okay.
According to the meters, I'm just as loud as I normally am. So,
okay.
All right, you're moving around. Okay.
Yep. Turning up. Doing it the old-fashioned way. Old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, by the way,
there we go.
I have a 1.5-year-old, and in the last 6 months, I've seen the shelves dry up completely of any kind of baby formula. Had to switch a couple different stores, and even then, all the people there are like, "We're ordering him, but they're just not showing up." So, but luckily, blessingly, he's entering the age where we're not so reliant on just baby food or mommy milk. So,
or formula.
It's not as
timing,
pregnant, but still
good timing wild. There, Gonzo. So this has been gaining more attention recently over the past couple weeks. Stories have been floating around, being published, articles getting a lot more attention. And we've been watching it because, as we know, the food shortage was more or less has been planned for a while, has been known about, has been commented on from the White House. And, it's been, the general idea has been, hey, deal with it, prepare for it. It's been fun getting, prepper advice from the president.
Right. This was
from the White House podium.
Just as a reminder, when he visited NATO headquarters, this is back in March. He said this about the food shortage.
Both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. And in addition to that, we talked about...
Yeah, he's going to disseminate food shortage. He told us, So
yeah, we got it more rapidly, too. We need to run out of food faster.
And the thing we didn't know was the babies are going to be targeted first.
Well, now here's the thing. We may not have known it, Gons, but somebody did.
Someone always does.
Somebody always knows what's going on. So let's bring our first article here. I know it's taking a second for us to get to it, but this is coming from Politico. And this article was posted in April. So this was late last month. And there's a few things I found surprising about it, and we'll jump into it now. The article is titled... or the headline rather, whistleblower warned FDA about formula plant months before baby deaths. Yikers. A former employee at Abbott Nutrition's Sturgis, Michigan infant formula plant flagged concerns about food safety violations directly with senior FDA officials in October, months before 2 infants died and another was hospitalized from bacterial infections after investigating formula made at the plant. Ingesting formula made at the plant, according to a document reviewed by Politico. In a 34-page document sent to officials.
That cover page messed it up, man, and we wanted the 33, but,
so close.
Table of contents.
So close. A 34-page document sent to officials October 19th and 20th, the whistleblower outlined allegations of lax cleaning practices, purposefully falsified records, and efforts by plant officials to keep FDA from learning about serious issues related to the plant's own system for checking for bacteria in formula, among other things. The warning came weeks after health officials in Minnesota had already reported to both FDA and CDC that an infant in the state had been hospitalized for Chronobacter sakazaki, a rare but deadly bacteria, after consuming formula from the same plant.
Wow, that sounds like an ancient god or something. Chronobacter sakazaki.
Sakazaki, yeah. It's I don't know. This is not any analysis or anything, but when I first read it, I was like, Chronobat, weird. That kind of has like a coronavirus kind of vibe to it. Sakazaki sounds like Saki, like Jen Psaki. I don't know. It's just weird. Hard copies of the disclosure were sent via FedEx to senior food safety officials and other leaders at FDA. I think this is an interesting detail. It was sent via FedEx, like hard copy printouts.
Isn't that
of
for
the whistleblowing?
legal? Yeah, that's for like legal purposes too, right?
There's a couple different reasons for that. One of them being, you can get like a timestamp through the mail system. Yeah, but it's also weird because if you send emails, then that would also have its own time stamping. So I'm not exactly sure, but it is strange though that they don't mention emails being sent. It was strictly hard copies through FedEx. They included this could have to do with official whistleblower protocols. Because there are laws around whistleblowing.
You can't just send an email up.
Yeah, and they're meant to make it difficult. They're meant to make whistleblowing difficult. So that's probably what the FedEx is about. They included FDA's top official, then acting commissioner Janet Woodcock, Susan Main, director of the Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition, Judy McMeekin, associate commissioner for regulatory.
He froze.
Agency's Office of Criminal Investigations. So it was like half a dozen copies went out. In addition to the serious questions raised about Abbott Nutrition's food safety practices, revelations of an early whistleblower warning reinforced concerns about leadership and decision-making on food issues at the agency. This was back in October. There's also reports from whistleblowing back in September. So it sounds like this was a sort of longer process. Yeah. And Abbott, you're right. It was just you thought correctly, dear listener. This is Abbott, as in Abbott Laboratories, the coronavirus testing company. Also, the company whose what was it? It's like a antidepressant medication was found useful against coronavirus. Abbott is a big player in a lot of things, including baby formula. Now I'm going to skip down. I've got some interesting parts. It's a long article, so I highlighted the important bits. And it goes like this. The company maintains it is not the source of the infections. Weird. Okay. A thorough review of all, this is a quote, of all available data indicates that the infant formula produced at our Sturgis facility is not likely the source of infection in the reported cases, and that there was not an outbreak caused by products from the facility, the spokesperson said. So that's Abbott's response to this whole thing. Even though on February 17th, they filed with the FDA a voluntary recall. So they say, we did the testing, it's not us, but we're going to voluntary recall anyways. The article goes on. Serious questions have already been raised about the government's handling of the investigation into the Abbott formula plant and the Chronobacter Sakazaki case. As Politico first reported, FDA was told of the first infant Chronobacter case in Minnesota on September 20th. The next day, the agency said it contacted Abbott Nutrition because the infant had reportedly consumed formula made by the company. Coincidentally, Gons, coincidentally, it says, that very same week in September, FDA conducted a routine inspection of the plant and found it had some sanitation problems, but nothing so serious as to warrant regulatory action. It's not clear whether inspectors were told about the hospitalized infant. The agency has declined to answer specific questions about that inspection, which happened after a 2-year break. FDA usually inspects formula plants at least once a year, but routine food safety inspections were temporarily suspended during the pandemic. So this plant had not been inspected for 2 years because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it just happened to inspect it like this week that an infant died.
Yeah.
So, came to their attention that they should probably do something. Any questions so far?
I think it's pretty straightforward that this Politico article is describing a cover-up of sorts.
Oh, you don't even know. It's beautiful. So referring to the whistleblower document, in the document, the former employee said he was fired after repeatedly raising food safety compliance concerns. The termination is being investigated by OSHA under a whistleblower complaint provision in the Food Safety Modernization Act, according to the document. So the whistleblower who had been complaining or bringing to the attention to the factory management that, hey, this is not okay. We're going to kill some babies if we don't get this under control, was fired for complaining about it. So that's cool. Abbott Labs.
Hey, I can relate to that person there.
Mm-hmm.
And getting fired. For being
you're always getting threatened to be fired if you keep complaining about my internet connection or something. Skip down a little bit.
I have compliance concerns, Basil. Your compliance is lacking at times. I just, I might need to go blow some whistles.
The article goes on for a bit about more just kind of like employment and how bad it was at the factory. Mm-hmm. And then it goes back to the document. The document alleges that plant officials knowingly falsified records on a number of occasions. Most often, it was a practice of leaving off key information from compliance records. The plant continued to rely in part on paper records, which made it more difficult for them to be reviewed. Other allegations raised questions about overall food safety culture of the plant. The document notes that the Sturgis plant had ongoing problems with ensuring that its powdered formula cans were fully sealed. Essentially, powder would get into the can seams, quote, thereby jeopardizing the integrity of the seal and product safety, according to the document. Instead of addressing the problem head on, there were instances in which employees altered the plant's testing process so that empty cans were tested instead of the sealed cans containing the product. They were testing empty cans to make sure that, the food it contained within the cans was safe. So I guess...
It doesn't... I don't... Speed... What? That doesn't make any sense.
It's almost like the criminal activity of Abbott Laboratories led to the deaths of children, which then subsequently led to a 43% inventory decrease of baby formula.
So this little incident here is responsible for millions of babies across this country, or moms anyway, unable to find baby formula for their little babies.
Oh, it's just the beginning.
Oh, my goodness.
The former employee indicated that this questionable practice was never disclosed or referenced in records that came to his attention. He has reason to believe that the questionable practice has not ceased and, as well, has not been disclosed to FDA officials, the document said. In 2019, a batch of the plant's infant formula tested positive for quote unquote micros, according to the document. It doesn't specify which bacteria was found, but formula is routinely tested for salmonella and chronobacter. Plant officials decided that instead of destroying the entire batch, they would destroy the most suspect part of the batch and then release the rest of it into the market without conducting additional testing to ensure it wasn't contaminated. This is a quote.
Wow.
The infant formula was released commercially without supporting documentation to suggest it was compliant or safe for consumption. So this has been a regular practice of this factory of Abbott Laboratories, or Abbott Nutrition rather, for at least since 2019. Let's see here. Now, it talks about, after this whistleblower complaint was mailed into the FDA, in the weeks that followed, more babies fell ill with serious chronobacter infections. FDA received 3 more complaints between November and January, including 2 cases where infants died. A salmonella case was initially included in the investigation, but has since been dropped due to insufficient evidence linking it to the plant. FDA officials interviewed the whistleblower sometime in December, DeLauro said Thursday, quote, FDA initiated a weeks-long inspection in response to the chronobacter complaints. So the whistleblower came in October. FDA did nothing until January 31st. Which is when they inspected the plant. Inspectors ultimately uncovered serious food safety issues and found 5 strains of chronobacter in the plant, though none of the strains matched the 2 samples of the bacteria and underwent genetic sequencing in cases where infants were hospitalized, a fact that has undoubtedly complicated the investigation.
Do you mean there's more strains out there, maybe?
There's more strains.
They've only
There's
been
more strains.
developing for 2 years in a laboratory unchecked by anybody, not audited.
Yeah.
Wow.
So long story short,
this is like an X-Men plot. The mutations start to occur. You put it in babies. You got a whole population of mutants.
Well, I think it's a very interesting connection to what we saw with certain labs in China that had safety concerns for years that went unaddressed.
There's a parallel here, and you had mentioned prior to the show, which seems to be thematic in today's episode, sort of a petri dish of the COVID situation in a smaller,
diseases,
isolated...
Things being left alone in order to grow, and not just in sort of a germ sense, but also in like the germ of not regulating dangerous situations, even though they've been known about for years. Of course, the Wuhan lab was notoriously, lax in its safety.
Well,
it had reported safety concerns over the years. And this Abbott nutrition factory had also had reported safety concerns for years, and they just let it go until something horrible happens. So there's kind of the background. This has been happening for a long, long time now. So they've known about the issue since at least 2019. Did nothing to fix it. And after 2019, going 2 years without inspections just made it even worse. There was talk, in this same Politico article, they talk about how during the FDA investigation, or the audit rather, it describes the managers of the plant sort of like biting their fingernails and like trying to guide the auditor around so he doesn't find the things.
This just all the corruption at that scale, at that level. It's very interesting because this also touches on the abortion topic. It's like if they reverse Roe v. Wade, and
it's got connections. I don't know what it is, but there's something right now where children and babies
the
are
baby
like
target being
what is a better way to distract from something else than making the children and the babies like the top concern. You've got the abortion issue, you've got the hepatitis pandemic in children, and now you've got the baby food formula thing. They are rolling out the baby distraction program to its most extreme conclusions. Now, Abbott Nutrition has known that this plant is dangerous since at least 2019, and the FDA also has known. Nobody did anything about it.
Yeah.
Even after the whistleblower put out their whistleblowing document in October, I found this fun little detail. When Abbott should be spending money to fix their plant so they don't kill babies. Well, if you go over to marketscreener.com, this was posted on December 10th of 2021, 2 months after the whistleblowing. Abbott Laboratories announces an equity buyback for 5,000 million. I don't know why they wrote it this way. 5,000 million worth of its shares, which is 5 billion.
5 billion.
So in a
I've
moment,
seen that a lot. I feel like that's an SEO decision to try to not get the attention of the people targeting billion-dollar deals and stuff.
Right. So 2 months. Well, first of all, 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years into the whole thing. 2 months after the whistleblower went official.
When Abbott should have been spending money to fix their formula plant so babies don't die. No. They didn't spend money on that. They spent money on stock buybacks to increase their stock price.
It's about the shareholders, man. It's not about the babies.
It's not about the babies. It's all about the shareholders.
You can't have good babies unless you have happy shareholders first.
It is truly a sick and disturbing thing that has been developing for over 2 years now. When you compare it, when you connect these dots to all the other dots going on in the world right now, you've got the children's hepatitis issue, you've got the abortion battle, you've got the
vaccine issue too.
The vaccine issue,
Under 5, the whole deal.
Yeah. You've also got the food processing plants burning down or exploding across the country. You've got the president of the United States warning about food shortages. It all is coming together. But Gons, don't be a crazy prepper, okay?
Well, I was going to say, this is an opportunity for all the people who have said that, this is going to happen to this country. I mean, people should be well prepared, right?
Yeah, you should, but not according to the New York Times.
Okay.
So we've got this article from the New York Times titled, "Why Doctors Don't Recommend Homemade Baby Formula." Now, there may not be any baby formula in the stores, and there may not be any way for you to feed your child if you're unable to produce breast milk or anything like that. But don't you dare think that you can feed your child without Abbott Labs. By the way, Abbott Nutrition, which is, it's mentioned in this Politico article. I'll just read it at the end here. Let's see here. DeLauro on Thursday also urged USDA to look into the incident because Abbott Nutrition's Similac brand formula, the top brand in the U.S., is one of the major suppliers to USDA's Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, known as WIC, which provides formula for millions of low-income parents and caregivers. Quote, "I strongly encourage you to investigate USDA's contracts with Abbott Nutrition," DeLauro said. At Thursday's committee hearing with Agricultural Secretary Tom Vilsack, quote, "If Abbott cannot guarantee the safety of formula purchased through the WIC program, the federal government should not be in business with them." So this specific brand of baby formula is the baby formula that is provided by the government to the WIC program, which is like, it's like a Social Security type program.
Food stamps for babies.
Food stamps for babies is kind of what it is. And so, you've got this other issue connected to it, which is dependence on the government. You've got this population of low-income people who are dependent on the government.
Yeah, hook 'em as young as possible, man. That's
the government.
That's the agenda here.
when the government is unable to deliver on the dependence of these children, you go ahead and have articles like this. Why doctors don't recommend homemade baby formula. So let your children starve. Don't worry about feeding them. With the United States in the midst of a baby formula shortage, parents across the country are increasingly worried about how they will feed their children. Some are rationing food or driving to stores hours away only to find empty shelves. Others are heading online to look up homemade baby formula recipes that use anything from powdered goat's milk to raw cow's milk. But pediatricians warn that do-it-yourself baby formulas carry significant health risks. Quote, homemade formula is dangerous for babies, said Dr. Katie Lockwood. Well, apparently the government-provided Abbott nutrition formula is also dangerous for babies, New York Times. An attending physician at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
But they're giving us money to advertise on our platform, so no, it's not dangerous. It's what you do in your own home that is dangerous.
The propaganda rooster is screaming right now.
Yeah, this whole article, this whole time actually, he's been very.
I know.
Opinionated,
he doesn't like it. Yeah, he doesn't like when we actually look at the facts.
It's funny how he's become the meter at which we measure the level of propaganda. Is how much he is. Making noise.
Listen to this. Listen to this in the context of what we just read. Quote, regular formula is FDA regulated and held to very high standards. The same way we treat medications. Making it at home is a lot riskier. Apparently, it's not FDA regulated. Apparently, they don't look at the factory for 2 years. And then when a whistleblower tells the FDA that there's dangerous baby-killing bacteria in a factory, the FDA takes their sweet time, 3 or 4 months, to even address the situation after 6 hard copy whistleblowing packages shows up at their office. No. We are not going to rely on regular formula. FDA regulated. Thank you very much. Commercial infant formulas are designed to mimic human breast milk as closely as possible and are carefully regulated to make sure they have the nutrients growing babies need in a form their bodies can process. Seems like there's a little something extra in there, New York Times. And it goes on, just says, nah, you can't do it. You can't make baby formula that's adequate for your baby.
What was happening for thousands of years before Abbott Labs came around? It's as if Abbott Labs has become, they're propping themselves up to be the bastion of all baby formula. We are the provider. Listen to us.
It is also government corruption. Yeah. Remember, this is Abbott Labs, the ones that made the coronavirus testing kits. Remember when Biden says, I'm making at-home testing kits available to everybody, and it took like 3 months for that to happen? That was Abbott. So that wasn't great. Listen to this. So if you make your own baby formula, such formulas can also contain excess of minerals and nutrients.
To make them strong and able to rebel against the tyranny that is upon us. Keep him weak.
Too many nutrients for your baby, right?
Oh my gosh. What are we supposed to... Okay, so there's all this... I get it. What are we supposed to do about it?
Yeah, I want your question. I also want to tell you... Let me read a couple more fun quotes from this article. Contamination is another concern. Parents making formula at home may also unwittingly introduce bacteria or other germs that can be especially dangerous for babies.
Sponsored propaganda machinery.
Come on. I mean... this is comparing Politico and New York Times, and just the cognitive dissonance is palpable, unbelievable,
it's incredible.
How do you write this? I mean, you must be. These people either have to put their conscience on a shelf or something before they walk into the office and write these things. I have no idea, but man, but it is truly an example of the power of the of the elite.
Oh, it's just
infrastructure.
nonsense. It's just complete nonsense. And besides the risk of giving your baby too many nutrients or bacteria that of course wouldn't show up in FDA regulated baby food, you can give your baby too much water. Did you know this? Oh. If you make your own baby formula, you might give your baby too much water. That can cause a condition known as water intoxication, which can lead to dangerous complications like seizures in young babies. Oh, you stupid parents out there trying to feed your baby. You're just going to give your baby too much water. Oh, you're going to kill your baby with water. Now, I've actually been water intoxicated. Sure. I don't know if it's been a while. I've talked about it on the show before, but I had got really into the whole like drinking tons and tons of water in college, and I would down a couple of 2-liter bottles all at once, and you basically just get drunk on water. Huh? I'm not saying that babies should get drunk on water. I'm just saying you have to drink so much water really fast for water intoxication to happen. So anyways, there you go, folks. Be dependent on the government.
You can't leave me hanging like this. What is a parent supposed to do instead? I mean, we can't make our own. There's none on the shelves. What are we supposed to do?
Oh,
it says here. You want me to read it? Because there's a part that I think
read it.
It's what can parents do instead? The first call any parent or caregiver struggling to track down baby formula should make is to their child's pediatrician. It's lining up with what Jen Psaki told us, right? Mm-hmm. They may have formula samples on hand or be able to connect you with local charities or breast milk banks that can help. Now, first of all, if there is a shortage, I guarantee that they do not have samples on hand. And even if they did, thanks. It's a little sample. It'll give him one or two. You
get a meal or two.
Yeah, it's not going to sustain. What, are you going to come back every day or every other day to the doctor's office to get samples?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you must be dependent on the medical industrial complex. Wow, yes, that is the pro tip from New York Times. If you can't find baby formula, ask your doctor. They can give you samples. And on top of that, they say, or go to a charity. Oh, yeah. You don't think people thought about that? You don't think that charities are also... You have the government of the United States of America who wants to take responsible for feeding your child, and after they fail exclusively on their shoulders, they fail to detect a 2-year threat lingering. Now they're telling you to go to a charity and get some baby food. Not our problem. Cool. We have a really cool government, don't we? So there you go.
Right,
Just go ask your doctor, folks.
If the producers don't come in, I'm going to be a baby formula slinger. I'll buy
black market baby formula.
I'll buy a bunch
slinger.
of baby formula, and I'll post them on the Onion router, and I'll sell.
Well, what's funny is that has been a thing up until the announcement we played just at the beginning, which was a big update.
Right.
There was mommy groups on Facebook. They were slinging breast milk. They were, trading. They were bartering for breast milk. They were trying to. They were finding ways to, up until just today, obtain illegal European. Baby formula.
The announcement today. The announcement today was, okay, you guys are already doing it. All right, well, we're going to say we're going to do it now to make it not illegal. Otherwise, we have to arrest a bunch of people, arrest a bunch of moms.
Exactly. We're not going to. We're not going to criminalize mothers trying to feed their children. Which, honestly, at this point, I would not be surprised. I'm not surprised if they either. But
thank you, U.S. government, for not going there yet. Appreciate it. Yet. Praise the Lord.
And again, not that European, baby food is subpar or anything. In fact, in a lot of ways, it's better. Obviously, it's not chock-a-block full of deadly bacteria, but it's only illegal because of the exclusivity contract that Abbott Labs has with the government. So it's Abbott Nutrition's fault that European baby food is illegal in the first place. And only when they kill a couple babies and completely destroy the inventory of our country do they just suddenly allow people to import from Europe.
43% down in supply. That's a big deal. And I have experienced it firsthand, and it's wild. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, that's 43%. I mean, you can think of it as 43% of meals eaten by children are just
babies.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
by babies.
Crazy.
Right.
That is absolutely insane. But here we are. And
So there's all the fun details, folks. And we'll be keeping an eye on it. It's just remember, it's not Biden's fault. OK, he's trying the best that he can.
It's Putin's fault.
It's Putin. Putin's killing Putin. I can't believe Putin got that bacteria into our factory.
Putin's killing babies, man.
It's Friday.